Hi, I'm live. So this is your boy Terry. My username is surpassing Google across the internet, and I'll be answering the question at hand in this very short video. I'll try to keep it short. I tend to make my videos very lengthy, but I'll try to keep this video short. The question at hand is it's not a question, it's a statement. I'm saying that it is not hard to live in the Philippines. Well, I came across a question. It's among the popular questions on Quora when you type in the word Philippines, and it says, "Is it hard to live in the Philippines?" Well, that is a very broad question, but if you're looking at it from a foreigner point of view, then the answer may be slightly different from a Filipino living in the Philippines. In general, I'll say that it is not hard to live in the Philippines. The reason is the era that we live in now. It's fast paced, unlike the times of our parents. There is the internet now. Basically, makes everywhere a location. So with the internet, there are many things you can do that wasn't possible in the past. That simplifies life to a large extent, especially in the Philippines. Um, Yes, let's look at the internet. We will, we'll cover the context of the subject at hand, but let's look at the internet and why it's of value in the Philippines in terms of simplifying life. Because without the internet, many things may have been harder to accomplish in the Philippines. Uh, but with the existence of the internet, I would say the Philippines is quite advanced when it comes to the internet. Almost everything is internet enabled. We won't say that the internet is very fast, but you can get fast internet. I'm sure that as much as 5G internet. But let's say you have 4G. Most of the applications have internet integration. You want to buy food, you can accomplish that using the internet. You want to, get a document, maybe a government issued document from your house delivered to your home. It's possible. You want to have your remittance delivered to your home. It's possible. But there's still limitations when it comes to the internet and accomplishments in the Philippines. Uh, but that's the internet. That's a global issue, internet-wise. Some places are still seen and developing by world standards, and that affects the Philippines. According to me, there is no developed or developing nation. Nations are merely locations, but by the internet standards, uh, the Philippines is developing. So there are many things available to the globe or to the West that is not available in the Philippines on the internet, and that this limits matters. For example, you want to do a Kickstarter, you have a startup. You're not allowed on GoFundMe, on Kickstarter. You have to look for a third party in abroad and trust the person to be the beneficiary of your Kickstarter. You want to do surveys, for example, people want to work from home and do surveys. Most surveys are available in the West, people residing in the West, and you want to do surveys, you have limited surveys when your IP is in the Philippines. Many things, many things. But that's the internet's problem. The internet is supposed to be fixing all this, but the situation with the world affects the internet. Anyway, so by means of the internet, it becomes easier to live in the Philippines. Uh, you know, because there are many things you can do, even though you're located in the Philippines. But how about daily living? Daily living depends on the mentality. Uh, yes, it may be hard for a large populace of people. But in my case, now let me talk for myself. Hardship is mostly a challenge and it's exciting in general. It brings a lot of discomfort, but brings innovation as a result. But this is how I channel my mentality. So for the most part, it has to do with the mentality. If you're able to adjust your mentality, exert your human, then it becomes quite easier to live in the Philippines. Finances. The question that was posed is looking more at the financial aspect. There's a lengthy comment there where the person spoke of living expenses. Yes, in general, I'll say, I won't, I'm not talking for myself, I'm talking for in general. Right now, I'll say it's hard because, there is one misconception that it's cheap to live in the Philippines. It's not that cheap, really. It's not that cheap. The only way that you will say it's cheap is that there's a measure of equality, meaning that you can get the same or a replica of the luxury that the rich or elites get even on a minimal budget. So there's a measure of equality there that makes things look cheap. For example, you want a massage, it may be a thing of luxury in other locations or countries, but in the Philippines, you can get that on your regular budget. You want to have a Chinese restaurant, maybe a thing of luxury in some other nations. In the Philippines, even on your minimal budget, you can get some Chinese restaurant service you. Stuff like that. But things are expensive. It doesn't look like it, but that is the case. Especially if you're living in Manila, your USD will vanish like anything. You know, it doesn't look like it. It's a much cheaper to live here than. But you look at the salary, the highest paying salary you will get really is $400 a call center all night. And in some cases, you cannot even pay rent with that. By the time you remove expenses for transportation, taxes, you cannot do anything. So for a foreigner, someone that is considered foreigner, I'm considered foreigner even though I'm a Filipino by my citizenship, it becomes hard. For a Filipino that has a support system, it's slightly easier. But a typical human has a measure of ambition, and for such people, it becomes hard. A typical Filipino can live on just a regular merry life. It's somehow how the vibe of the nation is not so many pursuits, and live with your family and marry. You know, that's livable. But if you're someone that questions matters, that you know want to help the world, want to have skyscrapers, and it becomes hard. Now that boils down to your mentality. Is that going to be an odd or a mountains of odds, or are you going to surmount these hurdles and channel all this hardship into innovation and improvisation and the evolution of your human? So it's mostly a question of mentality when it comes to whether it's hard to live in the Philippines or not. According to me, it's not a matter of nation at this stage. It's more a matter of me, my mentality. When it appears hard and just too easy to quit, and it's challenging, it's exciting. I want to exert of my human virtue, my human senses, and tap into greatness in the process. So, if you're great, greatness should be a constant regardless of your location. So that's the way I build matters, and so I say that it is not hard to live in the Philippines. I don't have a dime really. I struggle a lot. I'm ill. I take care of my ill dad, and I still will not say that it is hard to live in the Philippines. The hustle and bustle is quite hard, but again, there's traffic, especially if you're in Manila. If you want, you can leave Manila and go to other places where the hustle and bustle is reduced. Yes, so there's that hardship, but again, boils down to the substance of your human. Altogether, I'll say that it is not hard to live in the Philippines. The earth was created for humans. We just have to go out of our way, connect with fellow humans, and dig, 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 dig. Overall, no fine stone did not require a digging. That's why it's fine stone. So I'm your boy Terry. Surpassing Google is my username across the internet, and that's the aim to surpass Google. So we have to be able to surmount simple hurdles, be able to surpass Google, and that's about it for me. It is not hard to live in the Philippines. Your boy Terry. Contact me. My email, all my contacts and everything is underneath this video. Let's do a collaboration. Stay awesome.